Hey Canceristas, it's Ann from But Doctor I Hate Pink, coming at you with something on my head because I have bad hair. A lot of it, so I can't complain too much coming from being bald, but it's still not good hair. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about what happens after you've been diagnosed with cancer. A lot of times when you hear you're going to do chemotherapy, you're scheduled for port placement. And you just think that's a normal thing that happens to everybody. Well, I want to let you know that a port is completely voluntary. You may not need a port. A port, in case you don't know, is a medical device that's implanted in your body. You've probably watched ER and heard it called a central line. It's implanted in your body and they can give you your chemo through it and they can draw your blood through it, and it doesn't require you to have a lot of needle sticks. If you have really bad veins or you're very uncomfortable with needle sticks, then maybe a port's for you. But it isn't for everybody. I did my first year of chemo without a port. I did my 6 rounds of chemo and a year of Herceptin and never had a problem with getting my medication, and I never had a problem with them accessing blood from my body. So, number one, a port is not a requirement, and don't let anybody tell you it is. Ask questions. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. Now, when I did get my port, it was because they gave me a drug called Navalbene. Navalbene is what's known as a vesicant, and that's kind of like lie. It was not a very comfortable drug. I did my first infusion without a port, and that's when I got my port. So you may need one, but talk to your doctor first, and don't let them talk you into it if you don't want it. This is your body. You certainly have the right to say no. The next thing I want to talk to you about is port placement. Now, they always put ports in chests, right? So let me show you mine. Wait, you don't see a port there? It's because I didn't put it in my chest. My port is in my arm. Now, it isn't any prettier in the arm than it is in the chest, but I have a little kind of phobia with things touching me right here. I've always worn V-neck shirts, and it's not for vanity reasons. It's because I don't like things touching my neck. In the 70s, which I'm old enough to have lived through and you probably don't remember, there was a style where you wore a choker, it was called, and it was a choker. You put it around your neck. It usually had a little peace symbol on it, and oh my gosh, I wore those. I suffered for vanity, but you know, couldn't do it for very long and haven't done anything since, so I just can't stand having things near my chest. The port is not really that high up. It's more like right around here. But also, I don't like wearing clothes up here, and I worked at a school at the time, and I didn't want to freak the kids out having a port there, so I had it put in my arm. It's not done very often anymore, although it used to be. The doctor told me that the risk was very, very slight, but just a slightly higher risk of having a blood clot. And that's perhaps why they do it in the chest now. But he said it was a very minimal risk. And they don't really teach doctors to do it anywhere but in the chest anymore. So you should probably talk to your doctor about that if you really don't want it in your chest. You want to have a doctor who at least knows what they're doing. Mine had done them in the arms many times, so I felt perfectly safe and it wasn't a problem at all. So the second thing I want to tell you is where you get your port is your choice. I have heard about them in legs and chests and other places, so they can be done elsewhere. Now, what is the surgery for port like? It's quite an easy surgery. You go in, a radiologist does it. They give you something called conscious sedation, which is very conscious. For me, it doesn't do anything to me, but some people feel like they're loopy or out of it with that. They put you in a room where they have a scanner type machine and they can see your veins. They make a slight cut in your chest or your arm or wherever, and they thread the device through. They sew you up and send you home. You don't need to spend any time in the hospital, and you also don't need to take any time off work. You'll be fine the next day. Now, I was really surprised that that night I did experience some pain. It was not intense pain compared to other pain I felt, but it was there. So if they give you pain medication, I would definitely take 1 or 2. You won't need more than that. You'll be fine. So anyway, those are the things I want you to remember. Number 1, it's your choice to have a port. It is your body. The second thing is you also have a choice on where you want it. It may not be possible to move it somewhere else, but it may be. You'll never know till you ask. And 3, the surgery is a pretty simple surgery. So there you go. Everything there is to know about ports. If I've forgotten something, feel free, ask me below. I'll answer to the best of my knowledge. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just sharing my experience. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Find me on my blog, But Doctor I Hate Pink. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com, But Doctor I Hate Pink. Find me on Twitter, But Doc I Hate Pink. And I'm also on Instagram, But Doctor I Hate Pink. Not using that one too much yet. Not sure what I'll do with it, but I'm sure I'll figure something else out. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Happy cancering.